Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and this week we have 12 incredible watches for you guys and girls. Real mix of watches as usual, ranging from a Rolex root beer, modern root beer, over to Tudor Black Bay 58, a beautiful JLC triple calendar. This is absolutely stunning, a vintage Amiga tank. There really is something for everyone, including some affordable watches as well. And if you're new here, every single Saturday at kibblewatches.co.uk, new watches hit the website 9:30 AM UK time, and it's accompanied by this video where we take a closer look at each watch, and in the description you'll see every watch listed, as well as a link to head straight over to the website to view all the details and purchase the watch, or a timestamp as well, where you can skip straight to the Amiga Constellation, for example, and skip all the rest. Now, I do want to apologise if I look like death, sound like death, and everything else, and the energy levels maybe aren't as high as typical videos. I'm recording this on the 6th, Wednesday the 6th. On Tuesday and Monday we moved house, so anyone who's ever moved house knows how stressful that is, and with two young children it is even more so. And like a maniac, I decided to try and do most of it myself with my car, with multiple journeys, because the house move wasn't that far from where we are currently, and that was a silly idea. I was going all the way till midnight, driving back and forth with as much as possible. But here I am. We're in the office, we're recording the drop video, and we're getting it done for you guys, because I didn't want you to miss a drop video, because it's been a long time since I've done that, and I want to make sure that doesn't happen. Now that all of that is out of the way, what's on wrist? I'm wearing a gorgeous late 1940s, early 50s Mido Multi data meter, super automatic. This is one in the personal collection I've had for some time. It's been in repair for a little while, getting some things sorted, and I think we're now there. This is the only thing with vintage. Sometimes it can take a little while to get it sort of where you need it to be. Sometimes there's problems, and then newer problems arise during that resolving process. That's just the nature of how it goes. But this is a really gorgeous watch. I have no idea how much they're worth, to be honest. I've had it for so many years now, and I just absolutely love it. I think it's a really great looking watch, really nice size, and I think it just works perfectly. So let's crack on with what you're here to see, and that is the watches on the table. I think we're going to have to start with this chunk of steel and gold right here. This is the 2022 Rolex GMT-Master root beer, the 126711 CHNR. Let's take a closer look at this one. Starting this week off with the awesome Rolex GMT-Master 2, often nicknamed the root beer due to the colour of the bezel, and nicknamed after a vintage model back in the days as well. So this has a gorgeous black dial with a black gradient to brown bezel, which just looks beautiful. Gold highlights, or sort of like tropical brown highlights on the dial with GMT Master and the GMT hand itself. Rose gold crown, rose gold inlay, and rose gold through the center links. That goes through the clasp as well. Now this watch is worn, it has been enjoyed, it's never been polished, so we can have it polished on request if you so wish, an extra charge, and it does obviously take a bit of time, so just get in contact if you'd like that done. But to be honest, it's really not that bad in person, and often the photos and the lighting make things look worse than they actually are, so do keep that in mind. This is the reference 12671 CHNR, and inside behind that closed case back, as we open the bracelet, you can see right there, closed case back, screw down as you'd expect, is the automatic Rolex caliber 3285, and this specific model is from November 2022 with its box and paperwork ready to be purchased and enjoyed. The clasp is your typical safety lock with the fold right there, and it opens like such, and you do have a 5mm easy link adjust right there, which you can fold in and out as you please to get a good fit. So yeah, let's show this gorgeous watch on the wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, comfortably paired on my 7-inch wrist. These always feel great on the wrist because you get that extra heft that the gold brings, and to be honest, the stainless steel model isn't particularly the lightest watch in the world in the first place, so it definitely adds some reassurance on the wrist. So this is 40mm by 48mm lug to lug, 12mm on the thickness, and 20mm on the lugs. So endless options for this one, so go check it out on the website today. From that Rolex to the now discontinued Rolex, this is a 2018 Rolex Explorer 1. This is the Mark II dial, which has the lume numerals and the longer handset, the better of the two, I would say. 39mm 214270. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for a Rolex Explorer 1, this is the 39mm model, which is obviously now discontinued, the reference 214270, and this one's from March 2018 with its box and paperwork. and is ready to sort of be worn and enjoyed. Again, it's been worn. There are scratches here and there, as you'd expect, typical desk diving marks, and we can have it polished on request if you so wish, and that will get it looking like new again. Just like the Rolex we just looked at, you've got the 5mm easy adjust link on the bracelet, which you can pop in and out like so to make adjustability on the fly nice and easy. You've got that classic black dial that you expect from the Rolex Explorer 369, and the 369 illumined, and the hands are the longer handset, which actually touch the lines for the minute hands. So this makes it a Mark II reference. For those of you that don't know, the reference 214270 came originally with 3, 6 and 9 as full white gold, so there was no aluminum, and the handset was also shorter. Bit of an odd configuration, to be honest. I've had a few, and I do think this is visually more appealing, but it makes the other one quite an interesting watch, potentially from a collector's perspective, which I think is quite interesting. Screw down closed case back as you'd expect, automatic Rolex caliber 3132 inside, and as I say, this is just an honest example ready to be purchased, worn and enjoyed. And if you're after an Explorer, you want the 39mm, I mean, your options are now limited to this reference. So here you go. Let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, very comfortable. I do personally prefer the 36mm, but I have to say the 39 definitely fits the wrist nicely, and it doesn't look too big in my opinion on my wrist. So this is 39mm by 48mm lug to lug, 12mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So go check this one out on the website today. Now on to something really interesting, and something I've been excited to bring to you guys and girls. That's this 1990s Gerald Perregaux vintage 1945 chronograph. Obviously it's not from 1945, it's based on a 1945 model in 18 karat gold, a reference 2599. Let's take a closer look at this for one. A wonderful rectangular cased chronograph, automatic, by Gerald Perregaux. This is part of the 1945 vintage collection, and it's housed in 18 karat yellow gold, and it has that gorgeous heritage style rectangular setup with the subdials at 3 and 9, which I think look absolutely fantastic. Applied Arabic numerals, nice sword hands, highlights of blue and red throughout, and just a very attractive case, as you can see, with that very aggressive step towards the bezel and the step towards the lugs, which again give this very unique looking profile in my opinion. Nice big crown and pushers right there, and as we flip it over, you're presented with a screw down case back in 18 karat gold, as you'd expect. This is a reference 2599, and inside here is an automatic Gerald Perregaux caliber 3080, and this watch is from circa 1990s with no box or paperwork unfortunately, but it is priced as such, and it's priced incredibly well. Now the watch is worn, it has been enjoyed, and we can have it polished on request, so just let us know if that's something you'd like to have done. It obviously wouldn't really hurt to have it polished on a watch like this. It will just sort of brighten it up if you so desire. But a really gorgeous watch, really gorgeous layout, and there's not many options if you're after a tank shape with chronograph in solid gold. So something like this I think is very appealing to those collectors out there. And again, the size is chunky, but it wears incredibly well. So let's actually show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist, as you can see. So as I say, it's no small watch, but it definitely hugs the wrist nicely, and I think looks absolutely fantastic. So this is 30mm by 47mm lug to lug, 12.5mm on the thickness and 21mm on the lugs. So go check out this gorgeous watch on the website today. From there over to an Amiga Seamaster 300M automatic with the electric blue dial, and it's been modified to have a matching, or very close to matching, electric blue bezel, which I think looks fantastic. The original bezel is in the box, so don't worry if you want to get it back to what it looks like, but I think this configuration looks brilliant. So let's take a closer look at this one. Next up we have this very attractive Amiga Seamaster 300M with the electric blue dial, as you can see right there, with the maxi loom plots, the sword hands, iconic case with the helium escape valve, and it has a aftermarket electric blue bezel, which obviously isn't a perfect match, but it works beautifully and looks great against the dial. Now this watch originally comes with a high polished steel bezel. That bezel is in the packet, it's in the box, so you still have that if you want to put it back to its original form, and we can get that done for you on request as well. But I do think this configuration works really well, and it's not a configuration that actually exists within the line of this era. So yeah, really, really cool to see. This is a reference 2255.80.00 from December 2014 with its box and paperwork, as well as its additional links for its classic Amiga bracelet with the push button clasp like so, and the dive extension, which is hidden away under there. You have to pull it out with some force like so, and then it snaps back into place like so, nice and easy. Screw down case back with the Amiga Seahorse right there, as well as the waves. And inside is an automatic Amiga caliber 1120. This is a really, really gorgeous watch. And again, if you're after something a little different, something that will make the collectors go, what on earth is that? And then you sort of say, you know, you've got an electric blue Seamaster and you've put a different, or you've had a different bezel put on it. I think it's kind of cool. And this goes to show, whilst this isn't original to the watch, it honestly makes it look better in my opinion. And I think it's fun to play around with these kind of things. I have a few collectors who have vintage Rolex GMT-Masters and Submariners and stuff like that, and they play around with bezel inserts all the time to give a completely different look. And I think there's no harm in it as long as it's not done to fool anyone or to try and claim something it isn't. You know, this is honestly described and as it should be. And the original's there if you want to swap it back. So it just makes it a fun little add-on in my opinion. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist. That is one good looking watch, and I do really think that blue bezel only elevates it. So this is 41mm by 47mm lug to lug, 11.5mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So go check out this awesome watch on the website today. From there over to a classic, a 2020 Tudor Black Bay 58 on a bracelet. I mean, it doesn't get more classic than this from Tudor, so let's take a closer look. Now for a Tudor Black Bay 58, this is the classic reference in my opinion, the 79030N with that gorgeous matte black dial, matte black bezel, the gold or gilt highlights throughout, as well as the matching gold surrounds on the hands and the indices, giving this modern watch a very vintage feel. Kind of like the big crown subs back in the day from Rolex. A really, really great thing. Nice case profile, as you'd expect. Polished sides, brushed tops with a nice chamfer. And it's oyster style bracelet, as you can see, rivet style with its folding clasp like so. Solid screw down case back right there with all the writings on it. And inside an automatic Tudor caliber MT5402. This watch is from March 2020 with its box paperwork and everything ready to be worn and enjoyed. It has been worn. There are a couple of scratches here and there. Again, we can have them polished down request. And there is a very faint hairline scratch, which I'm finding it impossible to actually see at the moment. But it's around here somewhere, I think. Under the additional photos, I have done a photo where you can see it and I've circled it. Just out of transparency, sometimes crystals can get scratched. A common misconception is that sapphire can't scratch. It can scratch, and you know, I've seen many scratch, to be honest with you. It's just sometimes they hide it a bit better as well. So like this one, I can't actually see where it is, so it's not really a major problem. But as I say, in the interest of transparency, it is mentioned and it is also photographed. We can have the crystal replaced again on request, so just email us if you want to discuss the process there, what that cost would be. But again, if you're unsure, book an appointment. If you can, come see it in person and decide for yourself. I don't think it's necessary, to be honest, but let's show it on wrist and talk dimension. And here we go, on my 7-inch wrist, as you can see, the 58 is a classic size, and I think just works for most people. So this is 39mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, 12mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So go check out this watch on the website today. Now on to what I would probably say is my favorite on the table this week. This is a Fortis JLC Triple Date with caliber P484 in 35.5mm. It's quite a big watch and it looks absolutely fantastic. I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a better one. It's priced incredibly well too. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for an absolutely gorgeous, and as I said, my favorite in this week's drop, a JLC Triple Date with the pointer date around the outside, day of the week and month indicator in a gorgeous 35.5mm size with those very extravagant sort of teardrop lugs hanging off the case, and the case itself is beveled right there. Really, really wonderful, and the design is gorgeous. Applied Arabic numerals which pop with the light, red outer ring, and just super clean and crisp. Now this is, in my opinion, a earlier refinished dial, but professionally done to an incredibly high standard, so you definitely won't be disappointed. This is no botched job at all. And again, I am not opposed to refinished dials as long as they are disclosed as such, and they're this good. At the end of the day, when they're this good, it really doesn't matter. So this is a reference 347822. As we flip the watch around, you can see a nice JLC sign crown. At 3 o'clock, you can see some recessed pushers in the case to change the relevant things. And as we flip it over, you're presented with a snap-on steel caseback. Inside is a manually wound JLC caliber P484-A, which is a workhorse movement, a beautiful movement as well that has been used in quite a few different watches and punches well above its price point in my opinion. The watch is from the circa 1940s. It's hard to date JLC exactly, but we definitely believe it is sort of mid to late 1940s, and it comes paired on a very nice 17mm strap, which I think suits the watch beautifully. And yeah, this is just a absolutely gorgeous example. If I was in a different position, having not just moved and spent a load of money on that move, I would probably be looking at a way to keep something like this in my personal collection, because it is gorgeous. And let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. You can see that just wears so incredible. This is 35.5mm, but it definitely punches way above that size, and because of those teardrop lugs, it sort of just hangs off your wrist beautifully. So anyway, 35.5mm by 45mm lug to lug, 10.5mm on the thickness, and 17mm on the lugs. So go check out this incredible watch on the website today. From there over to a watch I'm surprised didn't sell from the Instagram stories and everything before it made it to the website. So if it's still available, snap it up whilst you can. This is Amiga Constellation automatic 35mm. This is the chronometer rated automatic version, as I said, on its bracelet. These are fantastic, and this is priced under £1,000, which is outrageous. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for a seriously underrated Amiga, this is the Constellation automatic with that gorgeous textured crosshatch dial. It's very hard to capture, but when it catches the light, you really sort of get that texture come through, and it is gorgeous. Sword hands right there, date over at 3 o'clock, Constellation star, and a Roman numeral inlay black fitted, stainless steel fitted bezel, which has these little secures, which is very, very attractive and part of the Constellation design, as is the Constellation bracelet with these pin tube sleeves right there through the middle of each link. Very, very nicely done, and again, very iconic push button clasp right there, and this has the slide adjust to make it easier getting over your hand when you're fitting, and the Constellation observatory caseback right there, as you can see. Now this is a reference 368.1201, and inside is an automatic Amiga caliber 1120. This watch is from circa 2007, and it comes with its spare links and is ready to be worn and enjoyed. Nice little Amiga crown right there at 3 o'clock. As I say, this is priced under £1,000. I think this punches way above that, and I think these are grossly underestimated and undervalued in the market at the moment. So if you like this design, you want an Amiga like this, add this to your collection today. I've seen quartz ones being sold for more than this one, and this is the automatic in the really great 35mm size. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Now, because of the case shape and the sort of integrated bracelet, it wears a lot bigger than the dimensions lead you to believe, and I actually think this is the best size. So this is 35mm by 41mm lug to lug, only 9mm on the thickness and 22mm at the lugs, tapering down slightly towards the clasp. Real beautiful watch, and almost like a piece of jewelry on the wrist. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to something quite different. This is a Gshot CIO Spitfire by IFLW, limited edition of 100 pieces with a hand-painted dial. That is hand-painted by IFLW. Really, really cool watch. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for something really, really cool and different, this is a Casio G-Shock by IFLW. And this is a limited edition of 100 pieces where each piece has this gorgeous hand-painted dial with the Spitfire proudly stated and shown right there. Beautiful sort of scenery. And it's just a really, really good looking watch. And it's kind of interesting to have something so rugged and robust like a G-Shock, and then something so finely painted on the dial. Obviously a Spitfire is still very sort of bulky, masculine, and all those kind of things that I think a G-Shock resembles as well. But the fact it's a delicate hand painting, I think is kind of amazing, this sort of artwork in robustness. I don't know, I'm probably just talking nonsense there, but hopefully someone out there goes, yeah, I get what you mean, I get what you're saying. This Gshot is, I won't bore you with the reference, it's a very long reference, but it's has this sort of gunmetal black style shiny case, very, very cool, and it has this interesting strap attachment design. So it's on this two-piece fabric canvas, which I think suits the design beautifully, and it is obviously ran by a quartz Casio caliber 5611. The watch is from circa 2024 with its IFLW Gshot paperwork and box and everything like that, so it's ready to be purchased and enjoyed. Really, really wonderful thing. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, on my 7-inch wrist. Although it's a big watch and G-Shocks typically are, it's super comfortable on this strap and I think looks fantastic. And again, how cool to have sort of a hand-painted dial on a watch, especially at this price point. You know, we typically think of hand-painted dials with the likes of Patek and Vacheron and even Elise Nardin and companies like that with enamel work and intricate designs. The price of this, I think, is well worth it just from the artwork alone, but again, to each their own. So this is 45mm by 50mm lug to lug, 11.5mm on the thickness and 21mm on the lugs. So go check out this incredible watch on the website today. From there over to a lovely Amiga Geneve tank from 1975 with a black dial, really great proportions, really great looking thing, and priced incredibly well too. So let's take a closer look at this one. Next up we have a really attractive Amiga Geneve tank with a black dial, oval case in a more rectangular, oval dial, sorry, in a more rectangular case, which I think is a really nice contrast. And this case is beautiful, really nice chamfers throughout, super sharp on the lugs as well. And Amiga crown obviously at 3 o'clock, and as you flip it over, a plain snap-on case back, and this is a reference 511.0469, and inside is a manually wound Amiga caliber 625, and the watch dates from to 1975, which is absolutely amazing. You've got those white hands, Amiga and Geneve proudly stated on the dial, and the indices around there as well. Just a very nice, attractive looking watch. Paired it on a nice black strap with white stitching to contrast against the white hands. I think that works beautifully. But obviously straps are one of those things I always say, don't worry about the strap. At the end of the day, focus on the watch, because the strap makes up a minor part of the cost, and it's something you can always change yourself to whatever you want. So focus on the watch itself. But yeah, let's show this incredible watch and this really nice size watch on my wrist. And here we are on my 7-inch wrist. I think that's a really attractive profile, and it just sits on the wrist nicely. It goes under the radar, but sort of catches the attention of maybe a watch aficionado who goes, what on earth is that? Because it definitely looks vintage. So this is 25mm by 33.5mm lug to lug, only 6.5mm on the thickness and 18mm on the lugs. So go check out this lovely watch on the website today. Now on to a beautiful 1960s Jacques Edouard 17 jewel electric blue Art Deco dial. Really cool little thing, priced incredibly well. Even comes on its original strap. It doesn't have its original buckle, unfortunately, but a really, really nice, honest blue dial. So let's take a closer look. Okay, so what we have here is a very attractive 1960s Jacques Edouard 17 jewel manually wound with its original blue dial with tritium lume plots and tritium hands, and you can even see around the tritium lume plots, if we look closely, you're getting some of that tritium burn on the blue dial, because these blues were basically electroplated onto a base metal or brass dial, and therefore when tritium was applied, because tritium is slightly radioactive, it would basically burn away at the electroplating that was on there. It takes many years for that to happen. Some watches it happens more extremely than others, and I think it's just a very interesting sort of aging process, and often a way you can tell if it's an original blue dial or not. Not always the only way, of course, but one of the ways. So very, very cool. You've got these heavy applied indice battens, giving it this very Art Deco look, classic sword style hands, and this sort of cushion case in gold plate, as you can see. Original crown, which has obviously had some gold plate fade, signed screw down steel case back, and inside there powering the watch is a manually wound AS caliber 1802, a very reliable workhorse movement. As I say, circa late 1960s, and it just compared on its original Jacques Edouard strap, which is obviously an old strap, so keep that in mind. This probably isn't something you'd want to wear it regularly on, because leather gets quite brittle with age, and it doesn't have its original buckle, but we paired it on a gold-plated buckle nonetheless. Let's show this watch on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, very, very comfortable and very nicely sized, and definitely looking of its era, in my opinion, in a very attractive way. This is 34.5mm by 36mm lug to lug, only 10mm on the thickness and 18mm on the lug, so easy options for swapping this one out. A brown suede I think would look great on this and really elevate that blue dial, but go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a Benra Sea Lord Classic Diver Automatic 39mm, a really great honest sort of re-edition of a vintage Benrus, but priced incredibly well. I think ran by a Soprod, so again the value for money on this is incredible. So let's take a closer look. Now for the Benra Sea Lord, this is a really awesome looking vintage style diver, obviously in modern proportions and build quality. You've got this nice case profile, angular sharp lugs, a black rotating bezel and a matte black dial with those sort of maxi lume plots filled with lume, which look absolutely fantastic. And I believe the bezel is also lumed as well, which just looks awesome. Signed screw down, just screw down crown at 3 o'clock. As we flip it over, a nicely decorated screw down case back. Inside is powering the watch, an automatic Soprod P024. It's great to see Soprod being used, a sort of affordable movement manufacturer that are producing very high quality movements. It comes paired on this nice black Tropic rubber, which is the original with its original signed buckle right there. The watch is from circa 2023 with its box and paperwork, and it's ready to be worn and enjoyed. Priced as such as well, it's very, very affordable for what you get. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist, as you can see, nicely proportioned. So this is 39mm by 45mm lug to lug, 12mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug. So endless options for swapping this one out. But I think that Black Tropic works perfectly. So go check it out on the website today. And the final watch on the table, the most colourful I would say, it's a Walbrook Skin Diver Decompressor Automatic, often nicknamed the Rainbow Divers, priced incredibly well, and it comes with 2 straps as well, I believe. So let's take a closer look at this one. Finishing off with something nice and colourful, often nicknamed the Rainbow Diver, something that Mido used to make, and obviously Zenith and a couple of others. This is a really cool Walbrook compressor diver, as they've called it, with that rainbow compressor levels stated on the dial. That was actually used for diving. Nice black matte rotating bezel, very bright white hands with a lollipop seconds, again giving it that vintage nod. Very attractive and simple case profile. Screw down signed crown at 3 o'clock. As we flip it over, you'll see a signed, I'm not getting my words out today, I apologise, signed screw down case back right there. And inside, powering the watch, is a automatic Miyota caliber 8315, a great movement for affordable watches. It comes paired on this very bright yellow Tropic, which looks awesome, signed buckle as well. And I believe it comes with another strap in the box, but check the photos on the website and under additional photos to be certain. The watch is only from July 2024, and I believe it's been worn once or twice, to be honest. It looks pretty much like new, so ready to be purchased and enjoyed. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. It fits very nicely at 40mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, 13mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs, with drilled lug holes to make strap changing nice and easy. So go check this one out on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls. This week's drop, 12 incredible watches. As always, I look forward to reading what was your favourite down in the comments. Let me know. As I say, I think mine has to be the JLC and then this awesome JR Perigo. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what's yours. And as always, head into the website, get yourself a tea or a coffee. If it's in the morning, if it's in the evening, get yourself whatever, and have a scroll through the website. There's not just these 12 watches, there's usually somewhere between 140 and 160 watches on the website, and not too long ago we did a price correction of a few to keep everything in line with the market, as I always do. So the prices are incredible. So head on over, check them out, and we'll see you all again next Saturday for another 12 watches with some really, really great bits, as well as a couple of affordable bits in there as well. Which is what I'm trying to do as we get closer to Christmas. I try and squeeze in a few more affordable watches. It goes without saying, I could buy those pieces all day long. And the reality is the margins just aren't that great in them because everything's less, right? So therefore, I have to make sure I have some of the bigger pieces in each drop just to keep everything flowing. I think it comes as no shock that that's the case, but as I say, as we get closer to Christmas, I want to provide you guys and girls the gift options and things like that, which is what I try and do every year, and it seems to go well, so hopefully you all enjoy it. But we'll see you all again next Saturday. Take care.